Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Prime Minister instructs Satin to include below-average homeowners in census. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he's instructed the Statistic Institute of Jamaica to include information on those who fall below the minimum standard for housing as part of the upcoming census. Mr. Holness says this will inform the government's push to provide more social housing.
We are going to be doing a census shortly, and in the census, they usually take up information on housing. I'm going to ask them specifically to look at persons whose housing would be below what we would consider a minimum standard, so that we get an idea of what the budget should be to help the most vulnerable in the society. My feeling, it's not statistically proven, but based upon all that I've seen, there could be as many as 10,000 households in Jamaica that would be in need of some type of social housing intervention. It may not be a full house. It could be a provision of land so that they could build on it. They may have some means. Some people might need short-term rental because they are in transition, and then the bulk would need this kind of intervention. I want to assure Jamaicans that the government has put a great deal of effort into designing the program, into executing the program, that taxpayers' money is being used in the most efficient way. This program is a program of hope. It is an operation in pride, but it is not Operation Pride. You will never hear any criticism about this program and how it works. So when I hear such persons talking, I have to scratch my head and say, have they forgotten their own record? Or do I have to go back into the archives and pull out what they did when they were at the wicket? Every dollar that is dedicated to this program is right there in the houses for the beneficiaries. The government is also contemplating the building of housing solutions that can be made available on a rent-to-own basis. And that is the equivalent of other social housing programs that are existing in other countries all over the world. In the United Kingdom, in the United States, they call them council houses in the United Kingdom. No matter how poor the country is, it must be to us offensive to our morality that somebody could live in conditions like these. And therefore, if that is our moral standing, if that is our ethos as a country, that there should be a minimum standard below which no Jamaican should be living in, then it behooves the state to intervene and provide better conditions. They may not be able to pay for it, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get it.
Mati Samudo, climate change is not just about the weather. Minister without a portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Mati Samudo, says climate change is not just about the weather. The minister is reminding Jamaicans that it has real impacts on their lives and livelihoods.
The climate changing impacts you on a day-to-day basis, on an hourly basis, and that's not something that we often understand. The heat in the atmosphere is also impacting your air quality, which affects your health. It affects persons with respiratory diseases. It's affecting our soil quality. So for a parish like St. Mary that has so many farmers, when you start to see deteriorating soil quality and you start to see reducing yields from the farm, we see that will lead to greater poverty. So it's not just the massive weather events. It is the infrastructure damage that you see. It is the gradual decline in our livelihoods and in the safety of our people, which is why this is so particularly important. But that's one such area. You have issues of drainage, you have issues of public infrastructure, and most importantly, you have issues of water. Just in May of this year, St. Mary would have gotten 46% of its 30-year average rainfall. That shows you just how erratic our weather patterns have gone. Now, it doesn't mean you didn't have greater rain in February and March, but you don't have catchment systems to take 96% of your monthly rainfall in a couple hours. You don't have storage for that sort of thing. So it shows you the impact you're going to have on water, which we all know is the basis of life. It is the basis of your economy. It is the basis of all of our future. This is an area that the government is investing in a way that we just haven't in decades. So this system, for instance, in IT Burrell, is one of several dozen. We literally can turn them on every weekend. But that is still a drop in the bucket, the proverbial bucket, in terms of what is absolutely required. In Kingston and St. Andrew, Minister, we would have had in May 11% of our 30-year average. Not below by 11%, but 11% of our average. So it speaks to the great difficulty we have with these changing weather patterns.
Local Government Minister pledges support for vendors affected by fire. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie has pledged additional support for vendors who were affected by the recent fire at the Highgate Market in St. Mary. The minister gave the commitment while addressing a disaster risk management town hall in Port Mario, St. Mary.
I am giving the mayor and the member of parliament the commitment tonight that the Ministry of Local Government will help to provide the funding to help to put in a temporary system in Highgate so that the vendors will be able to ply their trade and continue to earn their livelihood, because that is very, very important. And today I was very pleased when we explained to the vendors that Rome was not built and cannot be built in a day. And I really appreciated the fact that they understood and was prepared and is prepared to work with us in getting the market back on track. The insurance company came and have done the assessment on the market, and the mayor gave instructions for the cleaning out of the market to be done. An area will be identified, and we will do temporary repairs to those areas to allow the butchers and other such persons to go back. And then the other persons in the market have indicated that they will. And even before we told them, they started already to help themselves.
Jamaica will continue to tackle gender-based violence, says Maine. Jamaica will continue to build its capacity to tackle gender-based violence, says Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security, Xavier Maine, addressing day one of the 5-day workshop of the Regional Knowledge Exchange on Operational Command of Gender-Based Violence, GBV, in the Caribbean at the AC Mart Hotel on July 18. Maine said the workshop would help the participants in the region to learn from the best practices of various countries. We are proud of the work done over the past 20 years by our Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA, in Jamaica and the Domestic Violence Intervention Centers that will be key features of this 5-day regional workshop, he noted. The workshop will prioritize improved technical competencies for united leaders in the day-to-day management of cases, from the initial report through to investigation and submission of cases from judicial processing. Maine said the countries in the Caribbean would work to develop a regional model for tackling GBV. The Barbados Police Service has developed 2 specialized units since 2013 to examine family conflict intervention, sex crimes, and trafficking. The practices of a similar specialized unit established within a Trinidad and Tobago police station in early 2020 have received early support from women rights advocates and other key stakeholders in the country, he noted. The possibility is there for us to collectively develop a regional model for how these units can operate, and I strongly endorse this effort to develop a community of practice, Maine stated. The State Minister said he believes investment must be made to better equip law enforcement to tackle GBV, and added that the government is committed to doing so. We must invest in equipping the pool of skilled professionals who will be first responders and investigators to such incidents with certified training of the highest standards. I am sure that there are many examples across the region of such investments in human resource capacity building, Maine stated. He noted that targeted branches of the Jamaica Constabulary Force has undergone training in responding to GBV cases. Our Community Safety and Security Branch developed a training course on domestic violence intervention that was ratified by the National Police College of Jamaica, which targets police officers from across all 19 geographical divisions, as well as domestic violence center managers, Maine added. He also noted that there are continuous training seminars and workshop designed for station commanders and section leaders, such as Criminal Investigators Bureau and CISOCA. This training, he said, incorporate a focus on the JCF's policies and standard operating procedures on domestic violence and laws, while also engaging external partners and content on GBV prevention. He added that there needs to be continuous capacity building for law enforcement across the region to respond and reassure the public that gender-based violence is a priority. This training must become increasingly ambitious in scope, incorporating digital skills, forensics analysis, and victim-centered cases management. The state will undoubtedly lead, but this enterprise must be multimodal and collaborative in nature. Partners here at this table and beyond must therefore be ready to answer those calls for support from police agencies across the Caribbean and broker these opportunities for learning and engagement, Mean said. The event is being co-hosted by the Jamaica Constabulary Force in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank, UN Women and the European Union Spotlight Initiative. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.